Well, I think, from the interviews that we've been doing, it seems like people aren't talking to the right people, like reporters aren't talking to the people that are actually affected by this and ask like, what is actually happening? And so our focus is really on the teens here. Like, what is it like to live in a border town? I don't know what that is like.
Coming to a border town, to be honest, I was a little bit afraid of what I was going to see. I was worried that it was going to be very very strong towards the right, where as far as police presence goes and border patrol presence goes, and seeing ICE around. But when we arrived, we saw it was the complete opposite, and we noticed that very quickly, that it was a very strong community here, and that really opened my eyes to the idea that like the border is really just a thing that separates two different countries.
I heard there was like tensions between one side and the other, but when I came to El Paso, it seemed completely like the sister cities idea was really existent, and that's something I did not really realize, was that like people on the border aren't really nervous about this idea of the border, or like this idea of the people on the other side of the border being that different than us.
Yeah, specifically visiting the actual the entry points from the side of El Paso, and seeing just like the culture, just how vibrant it is in that area, and how people are they're so happy. They're happy to be going back and forth. We had the luxury of going out and reporting the day that Mexico won against South Korea, and it was amazing to see so many jerseys going back and forth from Juarez and El Paso, because people were out celebrating. They were out having a good time. I think it was Saturday. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. A little hot for my preference, but it was really something. It was a nice sight to see.
What I'm seeing here is so different from what the president has said. I mean, when I'm here, it feels very welcoming. If you are buying the rhetoric, I think you should go visit a border town to kind of figure it out and see it for yourself. Because I think, and as reporters, I think that's also our responsibility, right? For those who can't travel to a border town, is our responsibility to actually show that, if there's a fence already, why do we need an extension? It's already big enough, and people are making it work. And so I think that's what I think as a journalist is important for us to kind of like tell the other story.
I don't know if a photograph or a video does it justice, but I think in general it's very difficult to show what's really happening here, to tell the story of two cities separated by a fence and by a wall that just coexist, and they coexist in a way that makes more sense than, like, to put it in comparison, the Bay Area, there's a disconnect between San Francisco and the East Bay, and we're connected by this bridge that millions of people cross. And that feels more of a separation. It feels like people in San Francisco are very different from people in the East Bay. And it's very interesting to compare that to what I'm seeing here, whereas people here, separated by a country, feel much more alike and feel much more connected to each other.